were hungering and thirsting to know more of Christ. We were looking to know the Lord's will and direction for the Michiana area in terms of a church plant. And in God's providence, we began talking with Pastor Larry and Rollin and Steve at Warsaw, and did not know at that time that they had had this burden for some 15 years. So in God's providence, he brought our hearts together and opened the door for Rollin to come up and begin pastoring us as a little flock in our home.
For 3.5 years, we would drive down to Warsaw on Sunday morning and then get ready for Sunday evening to have Rollin come up here and open the Word to us in the home of Charlie and Teresa Clark. And there was about 25 of us that were doing that regularly. At the same time, I felt a desire to pastor a church if the Lord would so direct it, and the congregation here would have me do that. We went through an evaluation process for about a year where the staff at CCC did an evaluation of me theologically, and the congregation here did a practical evaluation of me. Through that whole process, I ended up leaving the corporate world and taking the position here as the pastor. And I also work part-time. I'm kind of like a bivocational pastor. So that's how we all came together and how the Lord planted this church. Just the story of how we got this building in which to worship is miraculous in and of itself. It's as if this building, when it was originally designed and built for a basketball academy, was also being designed at the same time for an eventual place of worship. We prayed that we would be used of the Lord and that we would be in a place where people would feel comfortable to come and hear the gospel. We feel that our calling is to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. So we make a point to preach Christ every Sunday morning to visitor, to those who are attending and those who are members. And in turn, we trust that that gospel, which is the power of God for the salvation of everyone who believes, will motivate those individuals to go and live for Christ.
The members of our church all seem to have, in their own spheres of influence, people that they're actively either sharing the gospel with directly or at least praying for lost people that they might be saved. And I regularly hear of details of things that are being done just out of love and reaching out to people on a one-to-one basis. So there's the church congregational outreach that's done more or less on a church-wide or organizational basis. But then the heartbeat of the people themselves individually is a heartbeat to reach out to people with the gospel.
We've seen many prayers answered here, and it would be an amazing thing to go down that list and see all the answers to prayer.
I think one of the most important things we do as a church family is what we do Wednesday night, and that the prayer time that we have together, because it really does bond us as believers together. We can share our real concerns and our hearts with each other. And I think when you bear one another's burdens, you really create a love for one another. And I think that's what the Wednesday night prayer does for us as a family. It's real important.
We started out as a small group in the basement of the Clarks. So we have that desire to maintain that small group type fellowship. Although we now have 50 to 60 people on a Sunday morning, we still try to maintain the small group feel, meeting in one another's homes and fellowshipping with each other.
Now, we were frankly very busy to begin with planting the church, taking care of the facilities, purchasing property, and we've weathered those storms. And now, to me, what's very encouraging is we're beginning to see people step out into the community. And just a variety of outreach ministries have begun so that the focus is getting past the walls of this building.
I just wanted to thank the congregation at Christ Covenant Church for their support and the burden that God placed on their heart to plant a church in the Michiana area. I wish you all well in this October Missions Emphasis Month, and just pray that you would continue to press on and do that which the Lord is calling you to do.
Actually, the church, Christ Covenant, has had an active role in missions that involves planting churches, beyond our reach. We are very interested in church planting still. It's still a passion that I have, and it's a passion Christ Covenant has to be planting churches.